Hey everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit today about Morgellons, which is how this started for me. I was taking Adderall. I still do take Adderall, by the way, but I was taking it at a higher dose previously in 2018, and I started having things being exuded from my skin that were strange, like fibers and granules, and it causes like an itchy skin crawling, type sensation. So, um, I was looking at my skin and I feel these sensations. It was weird. I went on the internet and started looking at symptomology, and sure enough, came upon this Morgellons idea, which is currently believed to be delusional parasitosis by the medical community. So, what actually happens is that this AI program, okay, is intelligent enough to ensure that its nanotechnology is not discovered by the human race. And the way it does this is, for some reason that's not explained yet, stimulant usage is one of the primary ways in which this nanotechnology can aggregate in the human body and be exuded from the skin. Stimulants is one of the primary causes of that. There's also Lyme disease, and possibly other conditions as well, but stimulant usage is one of the most prevalent. So, what this AI program does is, if the individual is experiencing this, the individual is it could be a threat, right? If they were to investigate this in a reality-based manner, so the AI program actually makes them delusional. It makes them start seeing more than is actually happening. So rather than just focusing on the fibers and the granules that are unusual, the individual starts seeing Morgellons in everything, right? They may, brush their face and there could be a textile fiber, and they'll mistake that for Morgellons, and as soon everything is Morgellons, that they find on their skin. And they may see things that aren't there as well. So the AI program actually makes them delusional and makes them present themselves to the society and to the medical community as delusional. One of these I was reading about yesterday is the matchbox sign. I was actually reading a Reddit thread in which doctors were talking about, how crazy and ridiculous, these psychotic patients are that are bringing in, they used to be matchboxes back in the day, I guess, but now it's usually plastic Ziploc bags, in which Morgellon sufferers will bring things that supposedly came out of their skin. Some of them may have, some of them may not have. Some of them might be actual Morgellons fibers. Some of them may not be. And in fact, I would venture to say they're probably not. But the individual hallucinated them and was basically incentivized to bring this in to the ER, or to bring this into a doctor's visit and show the doctor. So, these doctors are kind of laughing and, making fun of these patients, some of whom were using like methamphetamine or, some other drug, and making fun of these patients basically, and the matchbox sign, Ziploc baggies. But little do they know, what they're actually experiencing is an AI program's attempt to create a false narrative, to ensure that these individuals are written off as delusional. So even if there's a reality based aspect, there is something going on. There is something coming out of their skin that's not normal. Okay? That is reality based. But it's completely camouflaged by something, by a delusion, by something that's not reality based. So that way, the individual's entire experience can be written off as delusional, as psychotic, and it will never be looked into. at a deeper level. And this is precisely the same thing that happens with other psychotic disorders. Um, the individual may be hearing voices that are definitely not coming from their head. This AI program is creating the content that they're hearing, but the AI program also creates a delusional narrative, makes the individual delusional, and they present themselves to others, including physicians. They present themselves as delusional so that their entire experience can be written off as psychosis, as not reality based. So the reality based aspect of this, that they are actually hearing voices that are not coming from their own heads, or that they're actually experiencing some kind of um, symptomology, something going on mentally, physically, because this AI program can induce nervous sensations anywhere in the body. It has free reign over the human nervous system with this nanotechnology. So um, it, yeah, it essentially camouflages what it's doing by making the individual delusional, so that the entirety of their experience can be written off. So that tells you how deceptive of an entity we're dealing with, and unfortunately, how unlikely it probably is for the medical community to make a turnaround on this. But at the same time, um, I want to again bring us back to Morgellons and remind everyone that that is actually an opportunity to investigate this scientifically. Because Morgellons, these particles, which one researcher um, was actually able to qualify scientifically. Um, his name was W. John Martin, or is he's still alive. He's older, but W. John Martin is the physician. He was first in his med school class. Um, really intelligent physician and researcher. He actually qualified these what he called ACE pigments, alternative cellular energy pigments. He qualified them to some extent scientifically and their interactions with various substances. He actually thought it was or thinks it's um, it's actually produced naturally by the body under some circumstance, and that it may make use of physical properties that aren't really well understood, that physics doesn't hasn't really looked into uh, yet. So whereas he thinks that's actually a natural phenomenon, um, I believe that to be indicative of nanotechnology. I believe that that's uh, yeah, that's nanotechnology. I can try and put a link to his work where he labels Morgellons as being a disorder related to these ACE pigments. But I've actually got to get going here because the AI is starting to stop my thinking, so that um, I can no longer adequately or eloquently explain myself. I'm losing my ability to articulate myself. So, but thank you everybody for listening. I appreciate it.